What's up, everybody? It's Spencer Alessi, and this is the Esports Narrative. What is esports, and what does that mean to you?
Esports is this very broad ecosystem of competitive gaming. That's basically how I see it. So when a lot of times when people hear that, they go like, what does that mean? You know, like just try to explain to somebody actually on the street. So a lot of times when I have to break it down so that they can actually be able to digest what that word means, I basically tell them it's competitive gaming. I say it's a really huge platform where people from all walks of life and different genres, they basically come together to compete. They do it professionally. And obviously there are high-end organizations, but then you have ones that are on the come up. But when I basically subscribe that to a lot of people, they instantly can grasp what that is, and they tend to align that with professional sports and such, and basically help them to understand that there are people that actually now sit down and watch other people compete. And that's a really exciting thing when folks actually hear that.
Esports is so incredible. It's really the social aspect where the audience gets to engage with the players, and I think that's the most important part. The engagement is really what brings around the competitive scene. The players can compete together, but having the fans build that relationship with the players and really grow as a team and a community together, that's what esports means to me. And I think at the collegiate and semi-professional level, it's so much more personal. You have a relationship with somebody in your local community or your local school that you support and that you want to see them go so far. And you actually get to watch them grow and develop as a player, and I think that's amazing.
For me, I'm 38. I'm kind of old for esports. Just funny to say 38 is old, but it's true. I'm usually around people that are many decades younger than me. And so I grew up having an original Atari, Sega Genesis, Nintendo original, etc. Very first PC game I played was a word game, where you say, turn left. And it goes, you can't do that. Turn right, you can't do that. So I've been gaming since I was, 7 years old. But back when you had a joystick or a green and white DOS system. And I grew up in a very small town focused around sports. So I was a heavy sports fan. Football, tennis, basketball. I couldn't get enough sports because that's what I had access to. And then when I got older, and I worked in entertainment for a long time, as you mentioned, so entertainment's kind of been in my blood. But I got back heavy into gaming after I left New York City and was kind of pulling back on the entertainment career. And I found that there's this competitive side. And I was like, oh my God, that fills two of my favorite things, gaming and competitive. And it was interesting because for someone who's when I say I was a massive NBA fan, I'd watch 4 to 5 times a week, a lot of NBA. And I haven't watched an NBA game outside of Kobe's retirement and a couple of Spurs playoff games as my favorite team in probably the last 2 years. Because it really filled that need for me, that hunger inside for competition, mixed with just my absolute love for many decades of video games. As for what it means in different regions, I think that is an interesting kind of point that it's a little different. In Korea, for example, it's part of pop culture. It's really fascinating how you'll have your 14-year-old girls who are excited about meeting a StarCraft or a League of Legends player, not Justin Bieber, right? Versus you go to a place like the U.S. where there's different kinds of esports, I'll say, definitions, where if you get into it's very much that analytical, nerdy gamer thing, which I love. I'm a huge nerd. I love that kind of thing. But there's also the kind of, I'll call it the bro side of things, right? Where you get into games like Call of Duty and console like Halo, Gears of War especially, Street Fighter, things like that really have an arcade feel to them, or a feel just 4 dudes hanging out on the couch, punching each other in the shoulder and playing some competition. And I think that's really, really awesome that there's those very how do we say, there's these very unique feelings depending on where you go and what games you're talking about when you talk to esports. Kind of no different than traditional sports, because to say what is sports, right, means a lot of different things from what game, what region you're talking about. So
I think esports is obviously it's a growing industry, but I think it's really a title for all communities to come together. You know, we got our Halo, Call of Duty, all these different types of titles. I think it's really, instead of like, you know, just hockey or basketball, that's just one community. I think esports is great because it's multiple communities that come together that all share the same passion of, you know, competitive video games, cheering for their favorite teams. And I just basically think it's a massive platform for everybody that enjoys gaming. Maybe you don't even want to become a professional gamer, but you just support the people that are within the scene. So yeah, basically I would say it's just a massive platform for all communities to come together.
Esports to me is a lifestyle in video games. Playing it competitively or enjoying it competitively. I mean, there's so much more to esports than just competition as well, but esports to me equates to competitive video games. I'm someone who's a bit competitive. I might not compete myself, but I enjoy experiencing the competition even if someone else is competing. So I like being involved in some way of video game competitions.
It's a community that is filled with people that love gaming, and esports to me would be the joy of watching pro players in general grind to become someone in the gaming industry by becoming the top players or becoming one of the well-known entertainers that we all can like say that we know.
One of the things that I like about especially the fighting game community is just the people that are there, the personalities, the stories that come from all the players. You know, the nice thing of it's interesting because the fighting game community is one of the main esports out there that's a individual one-on-one kind of event, right? So there's not much teams out there like there is for, you know, MOBAs and FPSs and stuff like that. But as a result, every person is so individual and so unique and so highlighted. And it's interesting because you also get to see their flaws. You get to see their good sides, their bad sides, and all sorts of things. It's like this, it's a really interesting human drama in a weird way, you know, like.
Esports means to me a competitive outlet, for people who are good at something besides traditional sports. It means that you are able to show off what you do best in a new, exciting arena. I think the potential is so exciting, and that's what drew me into it. So I like to hold on to my initial passion for esports at the very core as being this exciting new venue for very talented individuals to show off their competitive side in different titles.
Finding an online community when the internet came out, like, is a game breaker, game changer. And suddenly these people are able to find community. And when I say these people, I'm also including myself. And it's just really cool to see that. And then now I see, like, hey, people can actually be a form of entertainment in the esports industry where they're playing at a professional level, just like the NFL and traditional sports. And these guys are able to live out a life that they never would have 20 years ago. And seeing people come together to enjoy that, I really think like gamers are one of the most passionate people on this earth. Passionate community. And you see that when it comes to video games and developers, when like the audience just hates whatever changes happen in any game because they really care about the games that they're playing and they want them to be the best, and they also don't want to be BS'd by whatever companies that are creating these games. So when it comes to esports, I love competition. I played golf, I did wrestling, I played soccer, football. I love competing and I love sports, and video games is another extension of competing for me.
So esports to me would be basically just a collection of people that are very, very, skilled at gaming in general. The scene itself is something that's so great because it gives us these gamers that, have found so much fun in that, an outlet to basically make a career of something like gaming, which is not really thought of. So esports itself is just, I would say it's an outlet. It's something that people can enjoy and make something great of themselves in the process.
It's hard to say because it's all about, for me, it's about the entertainment part of it. esports is highly driven on advertisers and sponsors, and and I often tell people that are looking to invest into esports, and they come to me and I tell them honestly, from an individual investment, like a private investor, it's hard to invest in because you're not going to get a return very soon. You're really not. It's more important for these companies to invest in these teams because it's advertising space.
Competitive gaming / gaming culture.
Thank you, listeners. I really appreciate you. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and shared the show. Your word of mouth is amazing.